Hi everyone, my name is Elena. I'm a CSIL coach at the Center for Student Involvement Leadership, and today I'll be showing you how to fill out contractual paperwork. You may be asking yourself, what is a contractual service? A contractual service is when you hire an individual or a company to provide a service in which requires a contract. This could be things such as speakers, singers, comedians, dancers, dance groups, or any other individual that provides a specific service. These are steps for contractual paperwork. Step 1 is determining what type of event you're having and what contractual services you may need. Step 2 is researching and choosing a vendor. Step 3 is getting a quote from this vendor. Step 4 is filling out the check request form. Step 5 is filling out the contract request form. Step 6 is completing the vendor bio. Step 7 is creating a flyer. And step 8 is compiling all these documents into a packet. As mentioned previously, our step 1 is determining what your event is and what contractual services you need. For contractual events, it is important to figure out what type of event you are having. This will determine what contractual services, if any, you need. It is also important to figure out the estimated date, time, location, and attendance. Many vendors charge by the hour, so figuring out a time frame for your event can be crucial. Step 2 is researching and choosing a vendor. When determining what type of event you're having, this could be a dance party, a themed event, comedy performance, etc., you can then start to research vendors that best suit your needs and can provide what you're looking for. It is also important to figure out whether or not your vendor is in the CUNY buy system. Contracted vendors must be in the CUNY buy system for approved vendors. If your vendor is not in the system and does not have a CUNY vendor ID, then you must send them the new vendor request form. Please allow enough time between your event date from when you send in the approval paperwork, since it might take some time for it to be approved. On your screen, I have the check request form. The check request form is used to state what vendor you are choosing and how much it will cost. You will only be filling out the following information on this form. This is the vendor information, which is the vendor name, the vendor address, and the vendor phone number. Under this box, you will fill out the actual amount, so how much it will cost, as well as the account name. So in this instance, it will be contractual with the number for the contractual account, your budget name, which is your club name, and then details about your event, such as the event name, the event date, time, and location. On your screen, I have the contract request form. On the contract request form, you will state your club name, the event day, time, and location, and a description of the event. Next, we have the contractor information. This is the vendor name, the contractor type, the vendor address, email, and phone number. You will then answer some eligibility questions about the contractor, and then you'll put a description of their services. So what services will they be providing for this event? Moving on to the payment information. This is where you'll put your budget name, which is your club name, and the budget contribution, along with the total cost of services. If you are collabing with another club on this event, you will then put their budget name and how much they are contributing to this event if they are contributing financially. Next is the oral bid. The only contractual service that requires you to complete an oral bid form is if you are hiring a DJ or having a photo booth, in which the photo booth or DJ is the only service being offered. The oral bid requires you to get 3 separate quotes from 3 vendors. For all other contractual services, you will only need 1 quote. In the oral bid that I provided for you is from a club who wanted to have a photo booth for their event. So they gathered 3 different quotes from 3 vendors and listed them in the oral bid. They put the vendor name, the vendor information, the item description, which is a photo booth, the quantity requested, which will always be 1, the item price, and the total price. When completing the oral bid, please put the vendors in least expensive to most expensive order. They then put the selected vendor and the selected amount. In the oral bid, you are expected to pick the least expensive vendor. If you are not picking the least expensive vendor, you are expected to complete a memo explaining your reasoning. Now we are moving on to our actual example for completing contractual paperwork. So after completing step 1, which was determining what your event is and what contractual services you may need, and step 2 was researching and choosing a vendor, Step 3 is now getting a quote from this vendor. For this example, I will be using the campus activity board and their Fall Fest event. After getting in contact with their vendor, which was Any Excuse for a Party, CAB was able to tell them what items they wished to obtain that they found on their website. These items are a cotton candy machine, a popcorn machine, funnel cakes with a serving size of 100 pumpkins with a pumpkin patch and painting supplies, a tie-dye station, and a photo booth. In response, the vendor told them the price for each item for the allotted time of the event and quantities requested in an invoice. After receiving a quote from the vendor, CAB was able then to move on to step 4, which is the check request form. As mentioned previously, they went with Any Excuse for a Party for their selected vendor. So on the check request form, they put the vendor name, which is Any Excuse for a Party, and the vendor information, so their address and phone number. Moving on to the actual amount, which can be found on the quote. This actual amount should match on the quote and the check request. They then put the account name and number, so contractual and the contractual number, the budget name, which is the campus activity board, the description of the event, so their event was Fall Fest, and then the event date, time, and location. Step 5 is the contract request form. On their contract request form, they put their club name, the event name, day, time, and location, the event description. Moving on to the contract information, they put the vendor name, the contractor type, the vendor address, phone number, and email, the contractor eligibility, and a description of their services. For the payment information, they were the only club contributing to this event financially, so they only put their club name with their budget contribution, total cost of services, and total budget contribution. Step 6 is the vendor bio. A vendor bio is a brief description of a company, usually found on the company's website. It gives an overview of the company's history, products, and services. This bio can be a screenshot from the one found on the vendor's website, or it can be put into a Google Doc. Step 7 is creating a flyer. After completing the bio, you must also create a flyer for your event. It needs to include your club name, the event day, time, and location, along with your club, the John Jay, and the SAA logo. Step 8 is combining into a packet. Before sending the documents to your coordinator, please combine the documents into a single packet. The order it should be put in is check request, the contract request form, the oral bid. Again, this is only if you are having a DJ or photo booth, in which the photo booth and DJ is the only service being offered, the vendor bio, and the event flyer. After completing all these steps, you should now have a completed contractual packet. Please send all contractual packets to your CSIL coordinator. And as always, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. We can be reached by email or in person at the CSIL office. And for more how-to videos for all of your other paperwork needs, please refer to our website. Thank you.